Hello, and welcome to episode 8 of the Trainspotters podcast with me, Joe, and these two.
Hi. Hello.
So, joining me tonight is Harvey. Hello, Harvey.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm very good.
And Jaden, who literally appeared in the episode before this. Hello, Jaden.
Hello, Joe, and hello to everybody else watching, and hello to Harvey.
Hi.
Hi.
Hello.
And what are we talking about tonight? Does somebody want to throw it out there?
We're talking about someone special. We're talking about, ladies and gentlemen, he's got 6 more wheels, a short stumpy funnel, a short stumpy boiler, and a short door. Thomas the Tank Engine.
Literally all of your description of him is wrong.
Oh.
And you know how we can say that now. You know how we can say that now?
Yeah.
Because me and Harvey have seen the real model.
Oh.
And that thing is quite long, isn't it, Harvey?
Very long indeed.
Yeah. So I think we'd better start tonight's... Yeah, well, fine. Introducing. That was perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
I think we'd better start, Harvey, by talking about the layout and our experience with it.
Yes.
And then we can segue into tonight's topic. Now, if you just excuse me, I'm just going to load the channel up a minute. So, do you want to start talking, Harvey?
Well, I don't know really where to start.
Well, about the layout and what have you?
Seeing it for the first time in Manchester was absolutely brilliant, I must say. It was
Unfortunately, I wasn't able
the
to
greatest experiences of my life. Obviously, growing up watching the show, I was like, yeah, we'll go and have a look.
Yeah.
I didn't expect it to be that big, if I'm honest.
Yeah, the layout was pretty impressive. It's actually not the first time I've seen it, believe it or not. I saw it in the Talyllyn Railway Museum last year behind the case. But yes, it's my first time seeing it in operation. And
Did you not see the layout when you went to Talyllyn a few months ago?
We didn't have time. We got there about 12 and got back at like 3. By the time we were going to there, it's shut.
Yeah.
Once again, Joe, I'm sorry that I couldn't make it to the layout.
No, well, that's fine. No, that's fine. I was glad you were able to join for this episode, though, because I didn't want you to leave you out the running for this one. So yeah, my kind of exposure to the layout, I thought it was very lovely, run by some pretty big names in the Thomas YouTube community world. Of course, Mr. Luke Ryan led his team very well. They all operated the layout, and I think they did a stellar job. Upholding.
It looked beautiful. It
Yeah.
looked amazing.
Would you like stats on how the video's done?
What did you say? Sorry.
Would you like the stats on how the video's done?
Okay.
I would also like that.
So
yes.
currently, YouTube's telling me on the channel view it's at 246 views.
Oh wow.
Ooh.
And it's now what, the 17th of December?
Yeah.
That's not bad, is it?
Not at all.
And the shorts.
Still is 80 years old.
Yeah, the shorts, because I uploaded a couple of shorts with it. Percy's is at 3K.
Oh wow.
Percy's like blown up, so yeah. Okay, that's the stats taken care of. So without further ado, then let's get into tonight's topic. So, of course, Harvey, you mentioned you watched the show. I kind of want to start the segue of do we know who created Thomas, and do we know his background and kind of overview? And then
I have a rough idea.
right. So, as Harvey and I mentioned, the layout that we went to see at Manchester show was created by the Reverend Wilbert Awdry, who wrote the books of Thomas, and it actually wasn't Thomas the Tank Engine and Friends, it was the Railway series. and Thomas didn't appear in it till 1946. He told the stories for a young Christopher Awdry who was ill in bed, and then his wife suggested, why don't you write them down? He did. He got them published, and 80 years later, it's one of the biggest things still going, I think.
Biggest thing since sliced bread?
Yeah, well, yeah. I had to think then. No, it was invented after sliced bread. Oh. No, we're not at 100 years yet for Thomas. But of course, something that I think you two will know. I know one of you will know this. I don't know if the other one does. The books actually didn't feature Thomas at all.
The 3 railway engines.
Yes, Thomas didn't exist then. It was Edward, Gordon, and Henry.
Edward, Henry, and Gordon.
Yeah, there was no James. James was the following book, and then his own book after that. In total, Wilbert wrote. Let me have a look because I have to remember. I can't remember off the top of my head. So this is kind of more of a yeah. He wrote. Hang on. If I can.
I know it was a fair amount that he wrote.
Well, he wrote from 1945 to 1972. 1972 was his last book. So let's have a look. He wrote.
It was a decent amount of books.
Say again.
I know it was a decent amount of books.
Yeah, I can't actually. Well, hang on. Let me have a look at the last one. Whatever the last one was numbered is how many Wilbert wrote. He wrote 26 books. And then Christopher went on to write up to 42. So obviously we'll go over the books very quickly. The 3 railway engines was about introduced Edward in the first book, then introduced Gordon, then Henry was introduced. Then there was a story where Gordon decides to be a pain in the butt and break down. Henry gets let out of his infamous tunnel, because if you haven't read the books at this point, I don't know who you are. So no spoilers warning needed. Henry gets let out of his tunnel and helps Edward pull the express. And then the next book introduces Thomas, then James, then Thomas gets a book again. Then we get the troublesome engines, and there's loads here. We could sit here talking all night about each one. But what I'm going to put to you is have you two read all of them?
I've not read most of them, and I've got about 3 or 4 more to get through.
Okay, Jaden?
I'd say I've read a decent amount of them, but I've still got a decent amount to go.
I've read all but one.
I know some of the books are definitely a lot rarer to find.
Yeah, I've read all but one, and that's book number 42 because it went out of print.
Which one's book number 42?
Thomas and His Friends, written by Christopher Awdry.
Oh, that was the very last one,
That was the book that Gordon gets retired in.
Yes, it came published in 2011.
Correct. But yeah, that is the last book we've had since 2011.
14 years.
I know. Shocker.
That's a very long time, that.
Shocker.
Yes, I used to think the last book was published around the 1990s. I didn't think it was that recent.
I mean, they kind of slowed a bit towards the end of the 90s with the show being the way it was.
A massive success.
Well, yeah, because they didn't adapt all of the stories, and obviously they went off doing their own thing. Well, we all know they went off doing their own thing, but we'll get to that in a minute. So, out of the books you've read then, which was your favourite and why?
That's a difficult one, that.
I could make it worse and say, is there a specific story in these books that you like and why? But
I like the one where Thomas goes to the National Railway Museum.
Thomas and the Great Railway Show.
Yeah.
That was written by Christopher Awdry.
Like a lot of the stories
and
where
was
they adapt like current existing engines of preservation to visit Sodor. For example, Wilbert, the Dean Forest engine.
so you prefer the later books?
I don't really have a preference. It's just
No,
there's just some books I like and some books I like a bit less.
that's fair enough.
I won't say I dislike any of the books. I love them all.
No, in case any of the Awdry family are listening to this. Harvey,
Hello.
your favourite book?
Well, I'm not too sure, actually. There's quite a few.
Really?
It's the one where he goes to the National Railway Museum.
Yes.
That one is probably one of my favourites, just because you get to see quite a lot of preserved stuff.
Yeah. I mean, you don't get...
It's the 1980s replica of Rocket, isn't it? That you get to see. It would have been a 30s one.
Yeah, that would have been one of the other replicas, the running one.
Yeah.
Of course,
Is it the same story where Thomas Double-Edged Green Arrow?
Yeah. So in that story, obviously, we get Thomas. Duh, it's his book. As to the engines in the museum, we've got obviously you see Stephenson's Rocket, but of course Rocket being drawn as Rocket is, he can't talk.
Yeah.
This would later be changed, and I'm going to mention that later on. We also get Green Arrow, and Green Arrow, I'd have to say, is one of my favourite of the preserved engines in the series to be featured.
I'd probably have to say the same.
Green Arrow, he's such a kind engine. Like he's so humble, despite being in one of the most prestigious collections of rolling stock in the world.
The real life Green Arrow is in the library.
Yeah, he's currently in Doncaster Library with the larger boiler single. Then he gets to meet the Iron Duke replica, which I think's at Didcot now.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, so at the time of writing this, it was at York. And then, of course, we get a non-speaking part from Duchess of Hamilton. And of course...
Illustration, she's looking very sad.
Yeah, and of course... Go on, sorry.
Thomas is looking quite neutral, and then obviously there's the Mallard looking...
Yes, of course the engine that breaks the speed record is one of the most snobbish, upper class kind of, oh, well, I should pull this train because the seaside place helped to pay for my repairs. Of course,
It's a good story, right?
yes, considering two famous engines appeared in this series, one claimed to have broke 100 miles an hour, and the other actually did it.
Yeah.
Then we get the third record breaker, the world famous record breaker, and it's perfect because Mallard's written as a complete snob. Yeah.
It really doesn't surprise you, does it?
No, it doesn't. I look at Mallard. I've stood next to Mallard and I've thought, if you could talk to me, I bet you'd be a right upper class snob and say, get your hands off my buffer. You're dirtying it, or something like that.
I'd probably say, obviously, I'd say Mallard in the younger years would be quite nice, but I'd say they'd be quite humble, quite old, quite experienced. You know what I mean?
Yes, well, now we know where they got Spencer from. So I might as well give you one of my favourite books. I'm going to go with Enterprising Engines.
That's a very good one.
Yeah, it was towards the end of Wilbert's tenure, but I felt like he wrote it very well, each story. Like, when he wrote the first one, obviously we get exposed to the end of steam, so Gordon's naturally upset. You know, all his siblings are dying off, and, you know, steam on the other railways coming to a complete end. The others just think he's got some boiler ache and don't give him any sympathy at all, which is just typical of them. And obviously we get the exposure to movements of preservation with the feature of Flying Scotsman, who comes to visit Gordon, and there's a beautiful illustration, and I'm looking at it just now, and I'm going to put it in the podcast editing of Scotsman back.
Another really good illustration, Joe.
You've just cut me off.
Oh, I'm very sorry. Very, very sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay. I was just pausing to get my words together.
Am I right to continue?
Well, can I finish what I was saying?
Yeah, of course. I'm really sorry about that.
No, it's okay. There's this beautiful illustration of the sheds. Obviously, it's at night. You can see the station. You can see the coal tipper. You've got Henry in the corner. Gordon's driver is just stood in front of him. You've just got this nice side-on shot of Gordon in the illustration. And then you've got Scotsman in all of its glory at the time, his glory at the time, with these two massive tenders backing down towards him. And I just think that and Scotsman stood next to Gordon is just superb. And then I can go on and list the other stories. So then, you get the injection of modernity with D199 and D7101, later Bear.
Contrast between D199 and D7101.
Oh yeah, there is a big contrast. D7101 is actually quite nice, whilst 199, again, another complete snob, but a supremacist of diesels. Then we get...
You think
Oh, go on.
of the successful diesel, obviously, being the stuck-up one, knowing he's successful, and then Bear, obviously, being the not-so-successful Heinrich, obviously, being the more...
Yeah.
The more... I know what it's like to be different engine.
Exactly. And then, obviously, the last two stories, you get Douglas saving Oliver from scrap. And then in the last story, a happy ending. Oliver's now preserved. And it kind of signifies the start of railway preservation as a whole. So there you go. That's why I like enterprising engines.
Fair enough. But what I was saying before I accidentally rudely cut off Joe.
That's okay.
I'd probably say one of my favourite illustrations, obviously, if you watched episode 7, I'm a bit of a diesel enthusiast. The one where it's Stepney looking quite nervous at Carlisle Station, and you've got a class 31, a class 40, and a class 52 all next to him, just giving him really snobbish looks.
Are you sure it's Carlisle?
It looks very similar to Carlisle.
I'm gonna get the illustration up, and I will put it in the in editing.
Well, I think it's Carlisle anyway. Excuse me if I'm wrong, but
I don't think it is. It's something central. It says, that's a mystery.
Sure.
Because really, you wouldn't see a western that far north.
Whereabouts was it again? Sorry.
You said Carlisle, and on the illustration, it just looks like it says central. Like there's no indication of where it is.
Because of its massive resemblance, I'm probably going to go ahead and say Carlisle, and the western was up there for convenience.
That is a big Railway Series mystery, and unfortunately, the artists who drew this illustration, they're both not with us anymore, Gunver and Peter Edwards. So it's not even like you can ask them.
But you do have to admit, it does look very similar to Carlisle.
Yeah. No, I'm not knocking the preference, mate. I'm just saying, I don't think it's meant to be. No, I know. I'm just saying it's not. I don't think it is because of the diesel in the middle.
Yeah.
If it was another diesel instead of him, I'd completely agree with you.
You never know.
No, well, we may never know. But the point is, yeah, that was.
But I really like that illustration.
Yeah. Well, we kind of know Awdry's attitude towards diesels, don't we?
Yeah.
I mean, our first exposure, and the character's first exposure to a diesel was Diesel himself.
Yeah.
And he was just nothing. He was literally I think so many people have made this point. Duck was an engine in 1,000. Diesel was an engine in 1,000. If you think about what they are and who they are, and they're not that dissimilar to each other.
They both had the same purpose when they were constructed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So obviously we've skimmed over the books because you kind of have to skim over it because we can be here all night talking about the books and how long.
Origin as well.
Yeah. There's all sorts. So I kind of want to ask then. You've had your favourite books. As to the series of books itself, who was your favourite steam engine? You can have 3 steam engines, 3 diesel engines, and other. So that can be people, vehicles, whatever else in the series.
I'm gonna start with my diesels.
Go right ahead.
Probably number 1 would be Bear because he's a really iconic Railway Series character. Number 2 would be Boko because it's just Boko. Come on. And number 3, I'd probably have to say the Works Diesel probably.
Ooh, the mysterious Works Diesel.
Yes, that mysterious Class 47.
That we only see in illustrations and never see again.
Yeah. Steam engines. Now this is the difficult one. I'll probably have to say number 3 would probably be Edward. Number 2 would be either Donald or Douglas.
Or both. You can have both because they're twins.
And Douglas. And number 1, I'd probably have to say Duck.
Fair enough. Harvey?
I'm not too sure. Too many good characters.
There are too many.
Yeah, I struggled.
If I had to shortlist top 3 diesels, easily Bear, Boko, and I want to say 199.
Oh, 199's a shout.
And more because of what the fandom's done with him, making him come back to Sodor about 7 or 8 times in one series, and just absolutely loathe it every time he has to come back. For steamers, Gordon is a big one because obviously he goes through such a long timeline, of growth and exposure to things, and like he gets to take the Queen. And I've got to go with the original 3, Edward, Gordon, and Henry. To be honest, all 3 of them. Because they all go through something.
Gordon is his character development. How obviously he starts off snobbish and all the rest, but at the end of it, he's actually quite a polite change of engine.
Well, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well,
a lot of mature.
Oh, go on. Sorry, I'm cutting you off now.
But it's all right. Yeah, what I like about Gordon obviously is character development over time.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's gone through a lot of change. He's gone through a lot of in himself. He's gone through a lot of maturing. I love by the start, obviously, it was the snobbish New Express engine by the start. He's quite wise in it, you know what I mean?
Well, yeah. Well, as we were saying with the books, not so much the publishing timeline, but more the timeline of where the stories start. We start in 1923. Gordon's just like what? Depending on headcanons, like the books say he was built in 1921. He's like 2 years out of the workshops for then.
He's fresh. He's brand new.
Yeah, he's 2 or 3, depending on personal headcanon. And then you've got, and then by the end, Edward, he's like Edward. You know what I mean?
He's
He's
probably the most iconic character.
he's like Edward in the sense of, yes, he's old, he's wise, he's had his day, and now he's doing something else.
Ed was one of them characters you just cannot dislike.
No, I know, exactly. So I think if there's nothing more to say, I think we should segue into the TV. Because we have got a bit to get through, and we are currently at 25 minutes. So this is going to be a long episode. I can feel it in my knees.
So I'm just sticking my phone on charge.
That's fine. So the TV then. So obviously everybody knows Thomas one way or another from the TV, and I grew up.
Model form, CGI form, or 2D?
No. We don't talk. We're not talking about that here. I'm not. You know what I'm going to do in editing? Actually, no, I'm not going to tell you what I'm going to do in editing. You're going to laugh at it. You're going to laugh at it what I'm going to do in editing. But yeah, we don't talk about the 2D one, so I think...
I know, I was just mentioning all the Thomas's forms, whether you like them or dislike them, you know.
Yeah, but no, personal opinion, no, we're not talking about the 2D one. Sorry to the fans that did actually like that. Just no.
Not very many of them, I'd assume.
No, well, that's why the company went bust. So...
The CGI should be coming back?
So...
Fingers crossed.
Are you two, because I'm certainly old enough to remember the later model series.
Yes.
Yeah, I think, Harvey, you're just about old enough. I think.
When did The Great Discovery come out?
Oh, God. Now I'm feeling my age.
The model thing they ever made.
Hang on.
2009, I think.
That
would have been the year. It was Hero of Wales.
2008. 2008.
So that was a year before I was born.
There, so you might not even remember the model series.
I do remember having a lot of DVDs. I grew up mainly watching the model series, obviously.
Yeah.
But I had an older brother who also...
So no, you will have had exposure to it, but it won't have been like your... it won't have been like the main exposure.
My time would have been season 13 and 14.
No.
No, just the dark, dull horrors of them 2 seasons.
Yeah. So I suppose we'd better start with the history, obviously. This year, because it was the 80th anniversary, the 1983 pilot for the TV series has been released. Showing Thomas and Gordon looking very different to how they would look in the later show. Yeah, the models were, I think, Bassett. What was it now? Bassett Loki or something? I will put in editing, I'll whack something in when I actually find the pronunciation. But, Thomas and Gordon looked very different. The models were very different. It was merely a production pilot to show investors how it would look. And the first series came out in 1984 with narrator, famous Beatle drummer, Ringo Starr.
The best Beatle.
Yeah, and I think it's largely thanks to him. I like the Beatles as well because the narration on Thomas got me into the Beatles music.
I'd probably say the same.
Harvey?
I would have to say the same.
Would you?
Yeah.
Harvey, would you have to say the same?
I absolutely love the Beatles.
Good.
That's all I'm going to say.
Well, yeah. Just for record, you're lining now, aren't you, Harvey? Harvey?
Fun fact for you then.
You're lining now, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. If people are wondering why the panel's so quiet for Harvey, it's because he's lining out. Is it Thomas?
Yes.
Yeah, he's lining out his Thomas model. So, yeah. Yeah, we'll put a picture in of that when it's all done.
Well, you can always put a picture of him while it's being done, because he's already got his number.
Well,
He's finished.
oh, lovely. Well, yeah. Well, remember, I've got to edit this, so there might well be another picture. Fun fact: Ringo Starr actually did work for British Railways very briefly.
He did indeed. Yeah.
Yeah, so it was kind of appropriate to have him. And it's a shame he kind of only did 2 series in this country. But then Michelangelo, can't speak now. Michelangelis came along. God bless him. He's not with us anymore. He died in 2020.
I would say that.
Yeah, he died in 2020. But he's the one that iconically made James even more scouse.
Scouse twist as well.
Yeah, so I think the last narrator of the series before it went to the 2D rubbish was also Liverpudlian. Is it Michael Morgan?
I believe so. No.
Mark Morgan.
I think it was Michelangelis.
No, Michelangelis, and then Mark Morgan. I think that's how you say his last name. Beg pardon, Mike, if you're listening to this. Yeah, so obviously, as we mentioned, the show went through 2 or 3 different things. It was models up until the late 2000s, and then it became CGI, and then went to this big thing focused on going around the world and being international, and then got changed to all engines go, which we won't mention. But obviously Awdry was still alive when kind of the first couple of seasons came out, because he died in 1997. He has said he approved of the first 2 series, but then when they started going off doing their own bits, he started getting a bit annoyed by them.
I would as well.
Well, yeah, the episode, and I'll throw the example in, but you've got to go and watch it yourselves. The documentary they did on Thomas, when I can't remember when it was, but it was called The Thomas the Tank Engine Man. And he says, obviously, mentions the episode Henry's Forest, and Henry just stopping in the middle of the line like it's a lay-by, I think he said, in the road. He broke rule 55 or whatever rule it was, about obstructing the main line for no reason. So yeah, and naturally, I don't think he'd like a lot of what happened in the later eras, when it's like, all the characters were written consistently of, Gordon's always grumpy, Edward's always lacking in self-confidence and he's old, Henry's always scared of everything.
I think they've completely changed. They've changed Henry over time.
Well, yeah,
yeah. He wasn't scared. He wasn't scared of the rain. He didn't want to ruin his paint. He started off a bit snobbish himself, if you think about it.
Oh, lovely. Harvey's just sent me a picture of something.
Oh.
I think it's the finished Percy, I think. The microphones just fell over. Whoops. Yeah, so naturally the TV show is really what got it popular, and I grew up with the later model series. I mean, the writing, now I look at it now I'm older, the writing is a bit
yeah.
But the first like couple of series when they were models was beautiful. It brought everything to life, and I think that's where it's going to come in later on in the series, not the series, later on in the episode, of Thomas's impact on railway preservation and obviously the Thomas fandom. We are at 34 minutes, so I think we are just going to pause for a drink break because, yes, I'm still recovering from being poorly and just gather our thoughts. So we'll be back in a moment. And we're back. just after that quick break. Yeah. Naturally, we wouldn't normally do this, but because of how long the episode's going to be, we all needed a bit of a drinks break and what have you.
It's a very productive episode.
Yeah, so we were just talking about the show. So obviously, I want to get your each of your eras. I'll just ask you for the moment, Jaden, whilst Harvey's just doing what he's doing. So what was your favorite era of the show, and kind of your favorite character from that? And that can be a character that's come over from the books. That can be a character that was introduced. That can be a character,
So,
whatever.
I'm about to list more than one era.
Yes.
But for one, it would probably have to be the CGI Brenner era.
Oh yes. Well, that was like getting back the golden years, really, wasn't it?
It was a massive game changer, bringing so many characters back, better story writing than just transporting a big balloon. Or transporting the bubbles.
Or not doing any work and just wandering around.
Yeah, actually bringing back the aspect of it being a working railway.
Yeah.
The realism.
Okay then. So, are you just listing that era, or?
I'm trying to think. I don't really know a name of it. I'll probably say the era around season 3 to season 5, 6.
Ah, right.
I love the Mid-Sodor and the Narrow Scarlow Railway around that era as well.
And kind of the introduction to characters like Stepney and what have you. Yeah, I quite like that era.
My golden era of the model of the series between seasons 1 to 5.
Yeah. So do you want to list your characters? Because then I can give my lot all in one.
So from the Brenner era, probably say I'll give a top 3. It's pretty straightforward. Doddle and Douglas, Duck and Oliver.
That's easy. All the fan favourites that came back.
Yeah.
And one character introduced.
God. One character introduced in the Brenner era.
Well, it can be any era.
I'd probably say the slip coaches.
Oh God.
I couldn't think of it.
They just appeared and then disappeared again.
Well, they appeared. I think it was around season 22 again. They don't have any speaking roles, but some in the background.
Right. Well, I'll give you mine then, and then Harvey can throw his in when he's done what he's doing. I'd have to say my favourite era was the model era, kind of 1 through to the end.
Fair enough.
My favourite characters are the same as the books. My favourite character introduced, it's between 3 of them, so I am going to give you 3. Spencer, Murdoch, and Arthur.
Who was your second one again, sorry?
Spencer, Murdoch, and Arthur. I
never listed my favourites for like around the series 1 to 5 era.
Oh, go on then, very quickly, and then I'll throw my next one.
Probably all narrow gauge. Probably just say Scarlowy, Duke, and Stepney.
Yeah, fair enough. My favourite characters introduced later on. I do quite like, the Brenner era. I quite like Samson. Kind of what he is. Yeah, kind of what he is, and more as a character than a the design for him is interesting too, because that was a real engine at one point.
Timothy from the Brenner era.
I'd have to also say Stephen, though I would change his headcanon a bit. I don't quite like him being the original Rocket still in service. Like, the original Rocket wouldn't be working in the late 1960s. There's no ifs or buts about it.
Yeah.
Mechanical condition aside, it could not pull a thing. in today's world.
Probably strange just pulling one person.
Yeah, and later on, I mean, I do like Rebecca as a concept, as a bully Pacific that comes in to help Gordon with the express work.
Yeah, but I just hate how annoying she is.
The way she's written is silly, but it's not too far believable that eventually a more younger express engine would have to show up at some point to help Gordon.
Yeah.
So that's one of them.
I'm also, I don't like Rebecca's livery at all. It's horrible.
No, yellow. No, I don't agree with yellow. I kind of had that. I didn't really have that issue with Molly when I was a kid, but now I look at Molly and I think I've seen what the Great Eastern Claude Hamiltons looked like in blues and when they were in green briefly, and I thought, why didn't they just stick her in a nice dark blue? That she doesn't look like
yeah,
any.
No, so it's like Murdoch and it's like Murdoch. All like these one-off characters just have such standing out liveries.
Well, Murdoch in concept art was actually maroon, and I quite like it.
Oh, a maroon niner.
Yeah, he had red wheels and everything.
Also, I'd just like to apologise for any background noise you hear.
No, that's fine. Of course, I think we might as well mention here. Obviously, last year, I think it was the start of this year, end of last year, we lost Britt Allcroft.
Yes, we did.
The power behind the TV series. She died Christmas Day, but it wasn't announced. It was a very delayed announcement, I think, due to obviously bits and pieces. Wishes of her family, I think. Which is highly respectable. You know, Britt was kind of the force behind the TV series. She did have a lot of respect for Wilbert as the creator, and you know,
obviously the iconic at the start of every episode.
Yeah, and I think she, you know what I mean. I think if she had have remained in charge of things, with the series, and I don't think we'd have got any of the silly stuff we got after the model series ended. We'd have got. I mean, all right, you know, their stories kind of towards the end were going a bit looser with the railway aspect, that it more or less focused on the engines doing things and playing games rather than Series 1. Oh, Gordon has to pull the express every day. You get a story around him breaking down or something, and someone else has to come in and do it.
Yeah, it's repetitive, but then they use different characters every time.
Exactly. One story, James gets to pull the express. Another story, Henry gets to do it. Another story, someone else does.
About the express or whinging about freight train.
Exactly. Yeah, but no, I was absolutely gutted when the announcement happened that Britt Allcroft had died. David Mitton, another force behind the director of the series, he's no longer with us. He's been dead over 10 years now. He died in 2008. But yeah, it's very sad that we lost him.
20 years, that?
Yeah, nearly 20 years, yeah. But he did a lot of work on the model series, and he then obviously did Tugs.
Oh yes,
he did Tugs as well, which that's going to get a mention in here because why not?
I'm going to say I've only ever watched a couple of scenes from an episode of Tugs. I've never properly watched it.
No, I've watched all of them. It's very good, and obviously a lot of the Thomas crew worked on it as well.
Yeah, there's a lot of the same props, wasn't it?
Yeah, and then the boats. Yeah. Oh, he's come back now. Go on then, Harvey. Give us your era and characters from the TV series.
Or just in general?
Go on then.
Okay, we've got Bill and Ben.
Yeah. Well, you can. Sorry, you can list the character that's in there that you like, and then you can list one that was introduced that you quite like from any era. I should have clarified there. Sorry.
Well, I do like Stepney.
Oh yeah, we all. I think
like
we can all agree.
They built the original prop as well.
Yeah.
Favorite character that was introduced. I'm not too sure. I'd probably go with what's his bloody name? Big Silver Boy. Big Silver
Spencer.
Guy. Yeah, that's the one.
Spencer. Yeah. I think he might have. He could have been an Awdry concept, you know. I think
everybody's got their headcanons in the AUs about Spencer.
Oh yeah, I think somewhere along the line, if one of the Awdrys, either of them, or if Richard Awdry himself had have started writing, we might have had some exposure to a character like Spencer, easily. But yeah, and your favorite era, Harvey?
Favorite era?
Yeah, of the show.
I'm not too sure.
I thought you just said models.
Well, no, I'll just stick with models. Yeah, go on then.
Okay
Me
then.
Joe also both agreed on the Brenner era CGI.
Actually, I do quite like that. Isn't that when all the miniature guys came back?
Yeah, that's when everybody. Yeah. That's when everybody good. Well, nearly everybody good came back. They never brought Duke back, and they never brought Boko.
That would have been brilliant.
Kobo, Boko Kobo, bring him back.
That would never say never. Obviously, if you watch the Thomas YouTube channel, they posted them videos about Dustin.
I know. Well, hopefully.
Probably just like overthinking this, but I reckon the CGI is going to make a comeback.
I hope so.
To animate that short 2-minute video.
I hope so, because it was pretty good animation. They just need to scrub the slate clean, forget about all the blubber stuff, and start again.
The animation looks like the Brenner style stuff again.
I say even if they've got to go on the loop and start retelling all the old stories again, do it. Do it. It's a lot better than what's on kids' telly today.
That's very true.
Yeah. So, is there anything else you two want to add? Obviously, Harvey, I know you've been doing something in the background. So, do you want to kind of chuck any thoughts in? Because I kind of don't want you to feel like I'm glossing over it.
I don't think there is anything actually.
Okay. Jaden, anything else to add?
1 second, guys.
Okay. So we'll go into the next segment then. What did I write? Actually, I've got to check what I wrote. Because I sent them both a message, didn't I? What we were talking about.
Yeah.
So we knew where we'd be up to, because I have sat down and thought about this. If I can find it. Can't find it now.
Oh no.
Right, hang on.
I apologise about that, guy. The mum was just speaking to me for a second.
That's fine. I can't find it now. Jaden, can you find?
Might appear again in a few minutes, though. She wants to speak to me again.
Can you just quickly find that message I sent you? Ah, no, I've got it now. Okay. So we were going to talk about. I listed Day Out with Thomas next, but I think we should talk about the impact of Thomas on railways, and then segue into like things like Day Out with Thomas and. Then our own personal headcanons, you know, kind of well, not in depth, but like what we do and where we get our inspiration and kind of things like that. So, I mean, speaking for the three of us on panel tonight, obviously there are a load more people I know and a load more people out in the big wide world who, in one way or another, excuse me, have become railway enthusiasts because of Thomas, because of the telly, because of the books. Yeah, all of us included in this call, I think, tonight.
Yep.
Yeah. Obviously, Awdry himself was a keen railway enthusiast all of his life. he used to spot trains with his dad. Bearing in mind this is like what the 1910s. He lived near Box Tunnel on the Great Western Main Line, and I think it says in his autobiography he briefly saw the Great Bear, the great big thing that very quickly went to death.
Yeah.
Well, went to rebuilding, but yeah, a castle, and then said castle didn't survive past the 1950s. I don't think.
Oh.
So obviously, Awdry himself always had a fascination. I would recommend reading the autobiography, Thomas the Tank Engine Man, because there's a lot more about his family, and they had a railway in the garden that his dad and older brother used to build up, and then his older brother sadly was killed in one of the early wars, I think, and I think it was World War One, and you know the thing kind of shattered because he died, and then we have we had Awdry's kind of involvement in a certain railway in Wales, the Talyllyn, when they were starting out, and that's how Skarloey and Rheneas and everybody came to be. Of course, the Talyllyn Railway Preservation Society now have his study, layout, models, a few other bits and pieces that were his. And for the past 5 years, they've had Awdry extravaganzas, and his family have been there. They've given lectures. They've talked about things in, Sodor today, which I think we should touch on, really. I think we should touch on that. But I think railway preservation wouldn't have gotten as big as it is now without Thomas.
I agree. 100%.
Without the books, without all the show, without everything, Thomas would have not encouraged more younger people to become railway enthusiasts, because obviously, railway preservation, you could say it's always been a thing, because look at all the old engines before the mass dieselisation began that were preserved. City of Truro, Rocket itself, Great Northern Number 1, to list but a few that were in Old York Museum when it was the old York Museum. So I think obviously without all of that, without Thomas, there wouldn't be a fascination for steam trains and model railways and railway preservation as a whole. What are your thoughts, you two?
So, yeah, I agree. Thomas obviously made the railways a lot more relevant now. Obviously, Thomas probably made steam trains that a lot more special about them.
Yes, I have to agree.
And obviously, like any steam train, any tank engine, and any toddler around the age of 7 would probably say, "Oh, it's Thomas," or "It's Percy."
Well, yeah. See, people get to recognise, and obviously, the Day Out with Thomas thing. Obviously, I can remember that being a lot bigger when I was a kid. I went to one in Llangollen, believe it or not. Which I will have to get some pictures off my mum for editing, and I will show you. They had Daisy as one of the diesel rail cars there, but they had another one coupled to Daisy to make it longer. Thomas was going up and down with a Toad Rickety, and I think I can't remember what Clarabelle was. And then they had a Black 5 that was labelled in the listing as Goliath, apparently. But then everybody, the Fat Controller guy went, oh, it's Donald. And I thought, what? Now, if he'd have said Henry, I wouldn't have even thought about it. But at the time, I was like, Donald? That's a funny looking Donald.
I know, it's a bit of a random character to jump to.
I know. Donald, the Black Five. What's next? Henry the Caledonian, whatever Donald is now. Not the 812, the other one.
Yeah.
Yeah, but kind of, I feel like Day Out with Thomas, because they've gotten stricter with licensing and things, has gone really shit.
Yeah, I agree.
I think in our day, when we were all young, it was good because it was like a gala, but the engines had faces.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So anything else to add?
Me personally, I never properly went to any Day Out with Thomas events myself.
Perfect.
I went to, I remember about 2 years ago, my little cousin, my little sister went to one. So I was just stood alone at Bury Bolton Street for an hour. But I do remember, the atmosphere was really good. It seemed really good. Obviously, they had Gothenburg masquerading as Thomas at the time.
Well, yeah.
But it's a good event. It's a good atmosphere.
I don't think it's as good as it used to be. Yeah, I don't think it's as good as it used to be, though.
But from my only time seeing one, it seemed
yeah.
Right.
Yeah, Harvey, your thoughts?
Hello.
Your thoughts on Thomas's impact on railway preservation and your opinion on Day Out with Thomas?
Well, impact-wise, I believe it's had a massive, massive impact on railway preservation as a whole.
Yes.
Yeah, I do believe that it still would have happened either way.
Oh, yeah.
With Thomas or not.
But I don't think it would have been as heavy.
No, it wouldn't have been.
Yeah, Thomas was a massive help to it all.
And your opinion on Day Out with Thomas?
I've only ever been to one Day Out with Thomas event. That was when I was fairly young.
Whereabouts was that?
Bury.
You went to one at Bury. How was that?
That was quite good, actually.
Pull it from personal memory.
From what I can remember, the Ivor that's now in the workshop was still outside.
Yeah.
That was painted red to look like James.
Well, quite an appropriate engine to use, really. Save the outside cylinders and what have you.
Well, yeah.
Because it's probably the closest you'll ever get to James now.
Probably, yeah. I mean, there's not many other things you could get.
No.
Close to.
And kind of, do you think it's kind of gone downhill now? Like it's not how it was when we were all younger.
I don't think so. But again, I haven't been to one since I was about 4.
Well, no, naturally, we're all a bit older now. I mean, I just think that, you know, it is what it is. It has its place, but I feel like it's been kind of numbed down a little bit, if you get my meaning.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like, oh, it's a big gala day and there's about 3 or 4 different engines on with faces. It's not, you know what I mean? I feel like that level would draw in more people. But then again, the Awdry extravaganzas kind of brought that magic.
Well, yeah, but they do it best.
Well, they do it best because it's a team of people that are actually Thomas fans for a start.
Well,
and of course, Wilbert's daughter and grandson and a few other members of the family have been there. I met Veronica Chambers, Wilbert's daughter, literally, I think it was the week of the Awdry extravaganza. I was in Wales last year with the gang from DMR, and she was one in the queue in front of me at the tea rooms at Abergynolwyn, and I was talking to this couple. And I mentioned, I think I've told this story before on here, and I mentioned the Awdry extravaganza to the pair, telling them about my experience. She turns around and goes, well, I'm his daughter. I'm like, I just stopped for about 5 seconds and nearly fell over. I was starstruck. But she was wonderful. And I said to her, I said very quickly, I said, on behalf of your dad, because he's not here, thank you. And I told her, obviously, it got me into trains, and I read the stories to my little brother, and she said, that's lovely. He'd have loved to have heard that.
Oh.
And if I run into her again, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then, of course, she was lovely. And, I think everybody, his family are embodying the spirit of him. It's like I said to the guys on the layout on Saturday, I feel like Awdry's in the layout somewhere. See, well, he's literally stood. There's a little figure of him stood at the crossing gate, so I like to think he's keeping an eye on them, making sure they're running his layout properly.
Making sure everything's running on time.
Exactly, and if something goes wrong, I think Wilbert would be the one to start laughing, to be honest. Now, I think he'd be like, oh yes, why don't I give them some of this problem? Maybe they can write a story about it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Most
Kind of. Okay, I think we've covered rather a lot. But I do want to cover kind of the fandom side of things now, and then we can each give kind of can't speak now, a closing thought, and then that's it, because I think this is the longest episode on record. This is an hour and 1 minute so far.
It's a record break.
This is the longest episode we've done, and we're nearly at the end of the first series.
Oh.
So, kind of into the fandom then, we could go on about different things all night, but kind of the first thing I want to talk about is obviously Thomas collections, and what if you've still got anything from your childhood, and if you've got anything since. Either Thomas merchandise based, or in some cases your own model that is Thomas.
As soon as you mentioned collections, I just started staring at mine on the shelf.
Right, so I think we'll go in order of we'll go in clockwise order. So we'll go Jaden, Harvey, and then me. Go.
So my collection, I've got a lot. It's mainly just take and play, a couple of wooden railway things, and thanks to Harvey, a Tony Oliver, which is probably my most prized possession.
I've got one of them.
Even though the condition may not be the best, I'm still going to cherish it, knowing I don't have to pay 150 quid for it on eBay second hand. In the same.
Yeah. Harvey?
I've still got quite a bit of it, actually.
Go on then.
I can't remember what's what.
Okay.
Because I've not seen it in a while.
Okay.
Jane roasted, didn't he?
Yeah, I give quite a bit of it to do, and there's a large amount of Tony stuff at my father's house.
Which I'd keep hold of that. I would.
Oh yeah, no, I've got quite a few things. I've got, from what I can remember, I've got Stepney.
Ooh, I've got Stepney somewhere, I think.
I've got Proteus as well.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Somewhere.
Remember you telling me about your Proteus?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now Michael.
Oh, I can't remember.
But you've also got a certain two things that you've made.
Yeah.
Well, no, more than two things that you've made.
Call it 5.
Yeah, go on then. Go on then. Spotlight, floor's yours. Go on.
Thomas, Percy, Scarlowy, Linnaeus, and Peterson.
And do you want to clarify what they are?
No, I'm sneezing.
Bless you.
I'm no longer sneezing.
Bless you. Do you want to clarify what they are so that people know? Because you're just listing the characters. People might go, what have you got?
Well, the Scarlowy was originally one of the Backman Taliflins that they released recently, and the black livery, like, it's a bit plain. I'll repaint it. I don't know what I'm going to repaint it to. Then I looked at my red paint. I was like, oh, I've got an idea. And then I went to Sally Flynn, and they were selling these
I think it's resin. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's resin.
Yeah,
Resin Kids
the 4Ds kits.
Yeah, that's the one. They had the dog arc there. I was like, ooh, I might have to buy that. And Scar Lowy, I'm pretty sure was finished at the time, minus lining. But
Yeah, because the second time I saw you, you had Scar Lowy.
Oh yeah, I had both of them with
Yeah,
me.
you did. Yeah, they were both done.
Yeah, I remember I came round to your house not long after you first got them, and you're still doing Scarlet.
I was indeed, yeah.
I remember you still in your
And
backyard.
then you've got Peter Sam.
Oh yeah, that's also a 4Ds kit.
And then you've recently done Percy and Thomas. Well, Thomas and then Percy.
Oh yeah, Thomas is just a 3D. It's a resin body shell. Surprise, surprise.
Yeah.
But it's it's like post Thomas Comes to Breakfast condition.
Yeah.
Sat on a Bachmann Ginty chassis. And then as for Percy, it's a resin printed body shell from the same guy I got the Thomas body shell from. And that's just sat on a Hornby / Dapol pug chassis minus the motor, because the motor would sit in the cab, and I'm not too pleased about that.
No.
All the gearing's still there, so I could hypothetically rewire it with a smaller motor.
Oh, I'm sure you'll come up with something for it.
Yeah.
Well, my collection, I've still got a lot of the stuff I've had, to be honest. What are you sending me, Jaden?
Send you some photos of my collection.
Oh, to put in.
If you want to.
Oh, flipping heck, right, Harvey, you. I think I've got some from you, but you'll have to send me some of the complete set. Oh, that's fine. So my collection is quite expansive, and I've still got a lot of it from when I was younger, and obviously now Noah is into it. Obviously he will play with a lot of it. I just keep it for sentimental value. So I've got all the Take Along and Taken Place stuff that I've had since I was younger. My oldest Thomas now has no eyes. I've got some Wooden Railway stuff, which my collection isn't as big with Wooden Railway, but I wasn't as, at the time I wasn't as bothered with it, and I wish I could have got my hands on a Boko. I've got a lot of Ertl. I love Ertl. I think Ertl is like my favourite range out of everything. And then Hornby, I've got Thomas, which I've had since I was... I can't even remember how old I was when I got Thomas. But then I've recently, and Harvey was with me when I got the other two, I've recently bought Percy. Because his little face was looking at me. Oh, shall I tell the story?
Yes.
So we went to one of our local model shops because I had to take some point motors back for the layout project because I didn't need them. And I got myself a Scotsman for Christmas. And sat on the shelf was this Hornby Percy, and literally its little face was looking at me as if to say, please take me home, I need a home. So I ended up buying Percy as well. Please sir, I want a home. Yeah, and then I was recently given a Thomas set, and in it is a Thomas which face looks a bit more photogenic than the face of mine because he's got no eyebrows. So I've got two Thomases. So yeah, that's pretty much it. But I am looking to take a similar approach to Harvey and start modelling my own rather than trying to hunt down every single character that Hornby ever made because I'm not paying some of the prices.
Fair enough, yeah.
Yeah.
1,700 for a Murdoch.
Yeah, exactly. When you could just easily get a 9F. You don't even have to paint it orange. You just get Murdoch plates and just number it to whatever Murdoch is in your headcanon. Done. Which kind of... onto headcanons then, kind of, because we all have our own, and obviously... we'll probably do another episode revisiting Thomas. I don't think this is the first, and this is the only one we'll ever do. Do you agree?
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah. Kind of in our own headcanons then. What's one obscure thing from your headcanon then? Shall I go first?
Yes.
Is everybody okay with that?
Yeah.
So, in the books, the law book, which is now out of print, but you can download a PDF of it. Someone's done that. Gordon is explained as to being a prototype of the LNERA-1 Pacific, predating Great Northern. For Gordon to logically work, there were a set of drawings drafted in 1920 by Sir Nigel Gresley of an A1 with an open cab and smaller tender. So in my AU, Gordon looks nothing like he did in the books, but he's this 1920s drawing, which I will insert a reference of. He comes in that condition. He gets rebuilt kind of later than he did in the books, kind of after World War II. And then he's currently now an A3 light flying Scotsman and does mainline tours and whatever else. He doesn't go to local trains. I don't like the idea of an express engine being used on local stoppers. So there you go. That's one of the most obscure things. That and Henry's a Great Western engine, a certain big Pacific, the Great Bear.
Oh.
Henry's the Great Bear.
I remember being you having a very long conversation about that.
Yeah, we did, and obviously we can talk a bit more about that. Your go. Whoever wants to go next, go next.
I have to think of one of mine now.
Harvey.
Think of one.
Harvey.
Hello.
How about that little tank engine? Is he anything to do with Sodor?
Surprisingly not.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's a shame. Because he's quite obscure.
That's the point.
Yeah.
Yes. The whole point of them existing is to be as strange as possible.
Well, I think you're kind of working on some headcanon pieces, aren't you, at the moment?
Mhm.
Like, whilst you're modelling. Would you consider the coffee pot you've done to be one of Hat's?
Possibly.
Possibly. Right, so...
Possibly a rebuild of one.
Oh, go on then.
Obviously, they were quite small at first. And they got rebuilt. In my headcanon, they get rebuilt at some point. I don't know when yet. They got made longer and slightly wider, but still kept the same boiler. So the boiler looks absolutely lanky on it. And they got partial cabs.
Ooh. And were any preserved?
I'm not too sure yet.
Fair enough. Jaden?
Hello, I've just thought of one of my headcanons.
Go on then.
I remember trying to figure out how to work this one with you, but Thomas being a terrier.
Oh, yes, I remember that. That's quite obscure.
Yeah, I'm still...
You're not the first person to do it, I don't think.
Pardon?
I don't think you're the first person to do it, you know.
It won't surprise me. I remember Harvey's modelled Thomas into a terrier before.
Wait,
I have, yeah.
Wait, what?
I did a very, very long time ago.
It was during the summer.
Well, we'll have to talk about that afterwards. I want to hear that story.
The photos of it. I'll send them to you.
Oh, lovely. Tell you what then, yeah. So go on, Jaden. A bit more about Thomas being a terrier.
So obviously, I'd say...
If the microphone don't fall over.
I'd say, so whenabouts were the terriers first built again?
Terriers? Give me a minute.
1857, I think.
Let me just fact check that. Not saying you're not wrong, mate.
No. It's 1872
to 1880.
Yeah.
So that makes Thomas a lot older than Edward. Jaden. And this point. He's just. Oh, there we go.
Hello, sorry, my mother was speaking to me.
It's all right. 1872 to 1880. That makes Thomas a lot older than Edward.
So, no, what I was originally thinking is, so I'm thinking during the World War One, I'm thinking they needed extra engines to help out. So I'm thinking Stroudley tried to make a few new terriers with a few different modifications.
Well, it wouldn't have been Stroudley in charge then. It would have been Billington. To get technical.
My apologies. I'm obviously not the best on Steam, but
no, but that's where I come in.
They found the terrier blueprints and they tried to make a batch of a few modified ones. I say only about 5 were built. One of them being Thomas.
And did he go straight to Sodor after being built, or what was the memo?
My idea was that he was found abandoned because obviously I'd say the batch were all big failures and they're all taken apart to help with other locals. But Thomas was a lucky survivor, sole survivor.
Oh dear.
And he was found by, as we know, the Fat Controller on a holiday down south. The Fat Man.
The Fat Man.
Obviously, it's still a massive work in progress.
Well, yeah, and obviously that's the thing. My AU still is. There are things I look at and I go, do I want to keep this as a concept? I then go, no, and then rip it up. Like there are things I've explored, engines I've changed back again. James has been through the ringer as 2 different engines for a while, and then I was like, no, I can't change him. He's too beautiful. So kind of to finish off then, I kind of want to talk about some of the info that's been released since the Awdry extravaganza on what's happening on Sodor as of right now.
Oh yes, I watched the video explaining that the other day.
Yeah. So to start with, one of the biggest things I think the fandom did first, and for that to be right, is just outstanding. Neil, the one-off appearance engine in Very Old Engines in 1965, appearing to have survived into present day, and in canon, he was gifted to Sir Stephen by Richard Topham Hatt, who's now Fat Controller, and is owned by the Crovensgate Preservation Society, which is something else the fandom has done, put a museum on the island, but not in Crovensgate. I think a lot of people have made Vicarstown a museum, which is personal headcanon, but I think I might change mine now. Now we've got that information. So yes, as mentioned, Sir Stephen retired in favour of his son, Richard Topham Hatt. Unless you've seen Sodor the Modern Years by Wild Nor'Wester, you will see that was not the case in his headcanon, and his daughter took over, which I quite like actually.
Oh, that's a nice change that.
Yeah. 100 years after they started using Barrow, the Northwestern now terminates at Vicarstown again, and BR195s now go across the bridge and take passengers from the steam engines, and obviously bring them to the steam engines because of lacking facilities at Barrow. Pip and Emma are probably one of the few HST sets still in service, still running the express between Tidmouth and London. Tidmouth Harbour.
Nuclear power station.
Yeah, there's the nuclear. I was getting to that.
Sorry, Joe.
It's all right. Don't worry. You're jumping the gun a bit. Obviously, Tidmouth Harbour's now been expanded to handle container traffic. 66s come in, and occasionally James and Henry take the trains, which is pretty impressive. How the hell, James, hang on, let me work this out real quick.
Trying to get that up, Gordon. So
Minus, well, they'd have to have a banker, wouldn't they? James at 113 is pulling container trains. Can you believe that? Like Henry, it's a bit more believable, but James, flipping heck.
Be quite a sight to see.
Yeah. The Alsborough Harwick extension happened, which yes, the nuclear power plant is mentioned in that. And
in 68 to go to the island as well.
Possibly. Yeah, did you watch Unlucky Tug's video?
Maybe.
I'm going to put a card in for that. Everybody needs to go watch that after they listen to this.
Yeah.
It's lovely. And I think one of the biggest drops of the year, we found out who the hell the austerity engine actually is. So the engine that was
What was his name?
Walter. The engine that was never mentioned again after Wilbert the Forest engine, where Wilbert comes for a trial. We get his name. His name's Walter. He arrived at some point after 1993. So possibly he came second-hand from another railway to run the Alsborough to Harwick extension. We don't know much about him other than he is one of the infamous Hunslet austerities. And he's painted black. So
yeah,
I think a lot of fandom interpretation is still going to come up with what Walter looks like and who he is and how he acts and if there's any like visual modifications to him or whether he looks identical to Wilbert.
Who knows?
Who knows? And I guess I'm waiting to find out more. So I think that's pretty much it, chaps. I think that's kind of wrapped up the episode.
It's very good episode. This,
which I must mention, it is our longest episode.
How long have you been running for then?
An hour and 22 minutes now.
Oh.
With that little pause in the middle, just so we could have a drink and whatever else we needed to do.
Well, we did it.
Yeah, and now I've got to go and do all the hard job.
It's all right. If you want anything, any pictures thrown in, just give us a message.
Well, yeah. Oh, yeah. There'll be loads of pictures. I've just got to put it all together. Which I'd like to thank you two for coming on the panel for this one. And
come on anytime.
I know you will.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you for coming straight on after your interview. This is literally after your interview.
Well, it's an absolute pleasure.
And I'd also like to thank CJ, the illustrator, for providing the music for this episode. We met him at the Awdry Extravaganza. Not the Awdry Extravaganza. What the hell am I saying?
Yeah, I was about to say.
I wish. Sorry, that's with me. At the Manchester show at the Farquhar Layout, we got talking and I said to him, I'd love a bit of music just to go in the background of this when it's done. So I'm not going to tell you what theme it is.
I don't even know which theme it is. It's that top secret.
It's one of my favourites, which naturally in playback you will hear it. But any final thoughts, gentlemen? The future of Thomas, perhaps, like what's going to happen with the show and. Because obviously the certain All Engines Go went bye-bye.
I think the CGI series is going to come back with what they've been posting on the YouTube channel.
Harvey?
I wouldn't mind it to come back actually.
With a better team of writers.
I wouldn't mind it coming back.
Exactly, with a better team of writers, I'd say.
Oh yeah.
Just
back to the golden era.
Mattel, you know where we are. Give us a ring. There's a lot of people that I'd say Mattel, give them a ring. But no, it's quite a good episode to do, and I think we will revisit the topic of Thomas. I think it's something you can't really avoid in railway circles, and there are a lot of people that do Thomas projects. I can sit here and list a couple. Go and watch Dark DJ Productions Northwestern series. Anything done by TARDIS Rescue, aka Daniel Long, NWR Steam, the Modernization Trilogy. I'll just go on listing them, but there's loads. There's loads. And of course, I think after the Awdry extravaganza, we might be doing a couple of things. Hey, Harvey?
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes.
Count me in as well.
Yes, well, there's a couple of project ideas that have come to my head. One of which Harvey and I are planning at the moment. And then I think possibly now we've got all the recording equipment. Writing, perhaps? Do our own thing? I'm quite happy to take on a bit more work. When it's like this and I can't go train spotting. Oh, well, thank you, lads. Thank you. And again, to everybody, thank you for tuning in. We're on the home stretch now. We've got 2 more episodes to go, and I think we'll be back with another one very soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.